You think you're relaxing your body in child's pose, right? But what if I told you that the way most people do it actually tightens their lower back instead of releasing it? Yeah, one of yoga's most restorative poses might be working against you. Here's the truth. Child's pose isn't just about sitting back and resting on your heels. Done wrong, it can strain your knees, jam your hips, and even block your breathing. But done right, it becomes a total reset for your spine, hips, and mind. So, before we dive into the how, let's talk about what's secretly going wrong when people try it. Picture this. You're in class or following a yoga video, and the instructor says, "Move into child's pose." You drop your hips back, reach your arms forward, and think, rest. But here's what usually happens instead. Your tailbone tucks under, your lower back rounds, and all that supposed relaxation turns into compression. Instead of melting into the floor, your body is fighting against tension you don't even realize is there. Here's the biggest mistake: forcing your hips to touch your heels. Everyone's body is different. Your hip sockets, thigh bones, and ankle mobility are unique. When you push yourself to sit back too far, just because it looks right, your spine compensates by curving the wrong way. The result? That tight, pinchy feeling in your lower back that people often confuse for a good stretch. Spoiler, it's not. Another classic one: cranking the arms straight forward and collapsing the chest. When you do that, your shoulders shrug toward your ears, and your neck disappears into your upper back. You're not relaxing, you're just shifting tension from your hips to your shoulders. Have you ever noticed how your fingers sometimes lose contact with the mat, or your elbows start bending? That's your body waving a red flag saying, "Hey, something's off." And let's not forget the knees. Forcing them together might feel traditional, but it actually limits space for your belly and chest to drop, especially if you have tight hips or larger thighs. That position traps your breath and prevents your spine from lengthening. Ever wonder why your breath feels shallow in child's pose? That's why. Now imagine this instead. What if the pose allowed your spine to lengthen naturally, your hips to open without strain, and your breath to flow effortlessly from your belly to your chest? That's the real child pose. But before I show you exactly how to unlock that version, I want you to check something right now. Sit back into your current child's pose, just as you normally do, and pay attention. Is your lower back relaxed or slightly tight? Are your shoulders truly resting or hovering? Is your breath deep or stuck at the top of your chest? If you're noticing tension in any of those areas, you're not alone. Most people have been taught a one-size-fits-all version that ignores the reality of human anatomy. The truth is, child's pose isn't about folding smaller. It's about creating space. Here's a hint about what's coming next. The secret to doing it right starts with one small but powerful shift: how you initiate the movement. Most people start by pulling their hips back. But the real magic begins when you set your foundation before you move at all. Think of it like building a sandcastle. You can't sculpt the perfect arch if the base is weak. Your knees, toes, and hands create that foundation. And once it's right, everything else falls into place naturally. So if you've ever finished a yoga session wondering why your rest pose feels anything but restful, stay tuned. Because in a moment, we're going to break down exactly how to position your body so that your spine decompresses, your hips release, and your breath becomes your guide. And here's a little teaser. Once you learn to adjust one tiny angle in your pelvis, you'll feel a wave of release travel from your tailbone all the way to the crown of your head. Most people never experience that because they're too focused on looking right instead of feeling right. So keep your mat ready. We're about to turn one of the simplest poses in yoga into a total body reset. And by the time you're done, you won't just be doing child's pose, you'll be mastering it. Alright, grab your mat, because now we're getting into the real work. Forget everything you've seen about forcing yourself into the pose. This time, you're going to build your child's pose from the ground up. Start on all fours. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Sounds simple, right? But here's the first test. Look at your hands. Are your fingers spread wide? Are you grounding through the base of your palms, not just the fingertips? That tiny adjustment already sets the tone. Think of your hands as the roots of a tree. the stronger and more connected they are, the more stable everything above will feel. Now, before you even think about moving your hips back, take a deep breath in. Feel your spine lengthen from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Imagine a long, invisible string pulling you gently forward and up. That's your starting point, neutral, active, and alive. Here's where most people rush. They drop the hips straight back and collapse the chest. Don't do that. Instead, hinge from your hips, not your lower back. Let your spine stay long as your hips glide toward your heels. If your lower back starts to round, stop right there. That's your limit for now. The goal isn't to touch your heels. It's to keep the length in your spine. Think of it like drawing a bow. You're creating gentle tension, not forcing it. Now, check in with your knees. Are they together or apart? Here's a pro tip. Separate them about the width of your mat. This gives your torso space to sink between them, which lets your hips and spine truly release. Keep your big toes touching behind you for balance. Feel how much freer your breath becomes instantly? That's not magic, it's biomechanics. Your diaphragm finally has room to move. Slowly, start walking your hands forward. Don't just fling them out. Crawl them forward with intention. Feel each fingertip connect with the mat. Here's the secret. Keep a slight lift under your armpits. You're not collapsing your chest onto the floor yet. Think of your arms as an extension of your spine. When your elbows float slightly off the mat and your forearms stay engaged, your shoulders stay broad, and your neck stays free. Now, gently release your forehead down. Not your nose, not your chin, your forehead. That simple detail changes everything. When your forehead touches the mat, your nervous system gets a calming signal. It's your body's way of saying, you're safe. And that's when true relaxation begins. Take a breath here. Inhale through your nose. Feel your ribcage expand sideways. Exhale, and imagine the weight of your hips melting toward your heels. But remember, melting, not forcing. The difference is everything. Now let's fine-tune. Are your shoulders creeping toward your ears? Draw them gently down your back, like you're sliding them into invisible back pockets. Notice how that instantly frees your neck? That's what most people miss. The release comes from subtle control, not collapse. If your hips are hovering far above your heels, don't stress. Grab a pillow or folded blanket and tuck it between your calves and thighs. That support allows your body to surrender without strain. Real mastery is about listening to your body, not punishing it. And here's the light bulb moment most people have right here. Child's pose isn't passive at all. It's active relaxation. You're lengthening your spine, grounding your arms, softening your breath, all at once. It's like a conversation between strength and surrender. Now, let's talk about what it should feel like when it's right. Your lower back feels spacious, not tight. Your hips feel heavy, but free. Your shoulders are wide, your forehead grounded, and your breath steady and deep. You should feel your inhale expanding through your back ribs, almost like your lungs are massaging your spine from the inside out. That's when you know you're in the real child's pose, not the Instagram version, but the one that actually heals. Before we move on, test something powerful. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, press lightly through your palms and draw your hips a millimeter further back, just a millimeter. Feel that stretch ripple through your spine? That's the difference between collapsing into the pose and growing into it. So, take a few more breaths here. Feel how every inhale brings gentle expansion, and every exhale brings deeper grounding. This is what child's pose was meant to be, a full-body conversation between effort and ease. And now that you've built the perfect foundation, get ready, because next, we'll level up. I'll show you how to turn this restorative pose into a dynamic tool to open your shoulders, release your hips, and even improve your posture outside the mat. What comes next will change how you think about this simple pose forever. Now that you've found your perfect child pose, let's take it one step deeper. On your next inhale, gently slide your fingertips forward. Feel the stretch travel from your palms to your hips like a slow wave. As you exhale, press your hips a little heavier toward your heels. Don't force, just surrender. Now, try walking your hands slightly to the right. Feel that deep pull through your left side? That's your lats and obliques lengthening. Breathe into that space. Inhale back to center, then walk your hands to the left. Same thing, opening the right side of your body. This tiny shift turns a resting pose into a powerful release. Now, come back to center and pause. Feel your heart sink closer to the mat. Your breath slower. Your body lighter. This, right here, is how you transform child's pose from a break between movements into a full body reset. Stay with that stillness. Let it teach you what real rest feels like.